let's talk about how to overcome imposter syndrome in the music creative field. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Modern Mix Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Bowie. I'm a mix engineer and home studio educator in Nashville, Tennessee. There are timestamps or chapters, whatever they're calling it these days, for your convenience, so feel free to skip around if you need to. But if you could, go ahead and hit the thumbs up, like this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Totally free to do that. And speaking of free, I want to give you a gift. Download 21 of my best mixing tips. You can pick that up at fairairmusic.com/21. I've got 21 of my best mixing tips all written out there for you to download to your computer or print out, keep on your desk so that you can reference easily back to. And while you're at it, go ahead and head on over to my TikTok account. Got one of those now, if you'd like to see all of these tips in action. Now, it's not really the most asked question that I get, but it is the most implied challenge that I see when reading your emails. So I thought I would talk about my own experiences with imposter syndrome as a music creative, audio engineer, producer, that whole area, and how I was able to overcome that. And I'm hoping that you'll find something that's going to help you out if you're feeling the same way in your musical journey. Because imposter syndrome is quite common, and I think it's very common in creative fields. First, I'll start by talking about what imposter syndrome is to me, and that is doing something within, say, a professional realm and feeling like you don't belong due to lack of experience, self-doubt, or just not at a competitive level as you think everybody else is. Basically, the feeling that you don't belong. And I think it's a little bit easier to fall into that whole imposter syndrome feeling, especially in a creative field. And it's very easy to have imposter syndrome in a creative field. There's no certification, no degree really, no test that you can take that automatically gives you a title of mix engineer, producer, songwriter. Unlike being called a doctor, a lawyer, a pilot, contractor, realtor, etc. All of those fields, all of those titles, you actually have to take a test or have a degree in, have certain levels that you pass in order to earn that title. And in music, you can literally jump on the internet and give yourself the title of music producer, mix engineer, songwriter. And so that makes it easy for everyone out there in internet land to accuse you of being an imposter. So it is easy for you to start seeing yourself as an imposter. And that is okay, my friend. It's okay to have these thoughts of doubt because it does show a desire and want to succeed. And we will need that desire to believe in ourselves and feel that we're exactly where we need to be. I know for me, when I first started out, even after earning a degree in music production and music business, I still didn't feel that I could call myself an audio engineer or music producer because I didn't have any solo experience in doing that work. I was still interning and doing sounds at a tiny open mic sometimes. My name wasn't going in anybody's liner notes. So in order to overcome that feeling of being an imposter, I started to ask local artists if I could produce some recordings for them. I wasn't calling myself anything, so I didn't really feel any pressure of living up to someone's made-up standard. I would just do my best and know that results would follow. Now, I had a producer credit, an audio engineer's credit, mixing, mastering, and no one's going to be able to take that away because there's the proof. And at this point, it doesn't matter your skill level, but on paper, you have done these things and therefore you are these things. Make sense? Now, a second thing to keep in mind is no one knows it all. You might be anxious now because you don't have enough to show that you're going to be good at music, and you'll keep thinking, will it be when I record an album? Will it be if I get a job in a commercial studio? Will it be when I build up a big enough clientele? But in reality, you're never going to hit that goal, that level of hierarchy that gives you that stamp of approval for letting you know that you are good, because it's always going to be something else. So say you recorded some of your friends. Well, technically, what you've done, you are. If you produced it, if you mixed it, if you mastered it, recorded it, then you are those things. But if we don't overcome imposter syndrome, then no matter what we accomplish, it'll pull us back down into thinking that we're still not belonging in this area. We still don't have enough. We still haven't reached all of those achievements. And that takes time, especially when you are in a creative career with constant releases of software, hardware that literally never stops evolving. You're always going to have to learn something. For example, the development and release of immersive sound. Your favorite seasoned Grammy-winning audio engineer just fairly recently had to learn from these developers how they should mix immersive sound. They didn't just know how to do it when it became available. They had to learn it. So to summarize, you're never going to hit that level that gives you that stamp of approval that you can call yourself what it is that you feel like you're being an imposter of. Forget what you cannot control. You may be suffering from imposter syndrome because you see all of your colleagues have degrees, music production and engineering. And you feel like because you didn't go to college and get these degrees that somehow someone is going to call you out on it and say, you don't belong here. Well, like I said before, I do have a degree in music production, music business, and I still felt that way. I'm also here to tell you that just because you do have a degree in one of those areas doesn't mean crap. But that's something that you can't control. So therefore, don't even think about it. Just throw it out of your mind. Don't think anything about it. Plus, it's just not an option for a lot of people, financially or where you are. You might be somewhere where there's not program for 500 miles. So focus on the things that you can control, like learning here. And lastly, I want you to think about what's the worst that could happen. I mean, you're creating music. Is there a worse thing? You can always make music, and by continuing to do so, you get better. The more you do, the better you get, the more experience you gain. And that's just facts. But with any creative field, there's always going to be critics. And if you put yourself or your work out into the wide open world of the internet, expect to see some negativity. That's just a given. But just know that it's garbage and try to block it out the best you can. I mean, there's literally people who think the earth is flat. So what I'm saying is, what's the worst that could happen? Nothing. Nothing that will prevent you from succeeding. And when you start to realize this, the sooner that you can put that imposter syndrome to rest. So to wrap everything up here, the next time that imposter syndrome starts to creep up, just remember, first of all, it's okay to feel that way. Because as long as we're on this musical journey, no one knows it all. And forget what you cannot control. And lastly, nothing bad's gonna happen. This is something you enjoy doing. It's your passion. There's not a negative outcome. And if the internet gets to be a little too much, too negative, there's always a block button. All right, y'all, thanks for watching. Hope you found something helpful in this episode. And if you did, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you'll know each time that I release a new episode. If you have anything that you'd like to add or talk about, just go ahead and drop that down in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. Also, don't forget to hit that link to download 21 of my best mixing tips. It's at fairairmusic.com/21. All right, y'all, thanks for being here. We'll talk soon.